I'll be there shortly.
It's time for our meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is the Golden Rain Foundation's monthly meeting. We are here joined by my formidable board members. We're going to solve the problems of the world. And yeah, so it's also April Fool's Day. So if something goes around in that corner, so be calm, enjoy, and be pleasant. First, I would like to ask everybody to remember to silence your phones so it doesn't bother anybody. I would strongly recommend to silence it or whatever you like to do so it doesn't disturb. Well, moving along, I'm looking for a motion to approve today's agenda.
Pledge allegiance first.
Oh yeah, Pledge of Allegiance. And that is Ellen Leonard's turn today. And please be ready.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Acknowledge the media.
Huh?
Acknowledge.
Yeah, coming up. Thank you. I'm being prompted to acknowledge the media if they're in the room. If not, they could be in the cloud somewhere. And thank you for keeping a track of what we do. All right. So now we can approve the agenda. I'm looking for a motion. I see a hand up there. Any second? Second. If there's no objection, then the thing is approved. Next is approval of the minutes of March 4th and March 20th. Looking for an approval for that.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Wow. Hi, how are you doing, Brad? Good to see you over here. There's no objection, then our minutes are approved. Report of the chair. I don't have a report to give you at this time, but I do have a very wonderful letter that was written by one of our lovely residents, and I would like all of you to please at least hear it and appreciate everything, all the comments that she has mentioned. Please.
Oh, okay, thanks. This is a letter to the editor, last week's Globe, March 27th, from Kim O'Brien. And the title is Thankful for Small Things Village Does. I used to pay someone to clear gutters on my home, power wash the driveway, pick up the trash and recycle bins, trim the trees, paint the exterior, mow the lawn, fix broken sprinklers. I had to keep track of paying those bills, check to see if the workers showed up, and source new workers when they didn't. I paid and paid for all of these maintenance headaches. Even our property tax payments are rolled into our monthly payment. I am so grateful that these things are done here, so professionally, right on schedule. I have been feeling so grateful for these things and for my dear neighbors that I decided to sweep the floors and wipe down the washers and dryers in my laundry room. Recently, I was ready to do my good deed, yet the cleaning team had just departed, and the laundry room looked great. I am thankful for the small things our village does to make our lives so carefree. Someone else is doing all the scheduling of workers, the supervising, the training, the planning, the accounting. My longtime pal, my checkbook, sits here with nothing to do. Thank you to all behind-the-scenes professionals who work hard to keep our village in great shape. Signed, Kim O'Brien. Yay.
The- I read the newspaper weekly and hear nothing but complaints and gripes and fights. So I was really happy to see a letter like that written by somebody, and I truly thank you, Ms. O'Brien. And this is what we provide to people, and this is what is included in our HOA dues. So I would, and more. This is just a little bit that she has mentioned. So thank you, and I hope whoever's listening has heard this and would appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Moving along. CEO's report.
Honorable President, thank you. Members of the board and our audience this morning, I'd like to share key community updates with you. I'm going to start with the CAL FIRE updated severity zone maps. CAL FIRE, as you probably know, has released the updated fire hazard severity zone maps for Southern California, including Laguna Woods. The zones are classified as moderate, high, or very high based on fuel, slope, fire, weather, and wind patterns. The maps inform defensible space regulations, Zone 0 standards, and wildland urban interface building codes, which VMS is working with the city staff to thoroughly understand. State law requires cities to adopt these maps within 120 days, and cities cannot reduce the designated zones. Residents may view the updated maps for Laguna Woods at the city's website. The address is cityoflagunawoods.org/projects, and at Laguna Woods City Hall during business hours. City Council will consider adoption of the maps on May 21st at its 2 p.m. Laguna Woods City Council meeting. Questions and comments should be directed to the city by contacting Planning and Environmental Services at planning@cityoflagunawoods.org or at the telephone number listed on the screen, 949-639-0561. But we continue to work with the city and will be following the proposed text for the Zone 0 regulations, and the city and the village will be collaborating on a comment letter following the April 7th hearing on that proposed text. In terms of fire rating for roof materials here in the village, the recent LA wildfires raised questions about village fire safety, and I want to assure you that all residential and GRF facility roofs in United and Third meet building and fire codes. All roofs have a Class A fire rating, the highest rating for fire resistance. Vents are screened and chimneys have spark arresters to prevent ember entry. We ask that our residents, if they see damaged screens or spark arresters, to please report these to resident services for inspection and repair. On the next slide, disaster preparedness remains a focus here in the village following the recent turbulent times that we've had in our area. The Disaster Preparedness Task Force and VMS Safe Security Services held a meeting on March 26th to connect and align key volunteer groups such as the Good Neighbor Captains, Clubhouse Coordinators, and the Amateur Radio Club. They reviewed the roles and responsibilities of each group. Volunteers completed and updated forms indicating preferred roles. VMS shared updates on the Emergency Operations Center Activation Plan and explained the partnership with Jacob Green and Associates to align the plan with recent gap analysis that was conducted. The next meeting will be in June 2025. Additionally, 2 public service announcements have been developed via a partnership with the Foundation of Laguna Woods and Village Television in support of disaster preparedness. These PSAs are available on the Village YouTube channel at the following addresses: for Go Bags and for Stay Alert. The addresses are on the screen, and I won't read those for you this morning, but please check out our YouTube channel. I would also like to share a few updates from landscaping services this morning. The department is implementing new rodent bait stations with sensor technology. These appear to be identical to the previous bait boxes, but are equipped with IQ trays featuring built-in sensors. These send real-time alerts via an app when rodent activity is detected. This technology will reduce the need for manual checks and improve response times to those problematic areas. This also helps identify high-activity areas for strategic bait placement and enhances the overall effectiveness of our rodent control program here in the village. Landscaping Services is also implementing new nursery software. This is in the early setup phase with data and plant inventory input. The technology streamlines plant inventory, order processing, and customer tracking. Importantly, it tracks the costs for GRF in each housing mutual. It provides real-time updates to foremen on availability and quality, integrates seamlessly with existing workflows to boost efficiency. The technology also helps determine what to grow, how much, and when to propagate. It displays plant details like sun and shade needs and visual appeal for better placement and care. Landscaping Services is also sharing the upcoming mowing schedules. Third and United both will have bi-weekly mowing in April, and in May, weekly mowing begins. In Third Mutual, one team will mow throughout the week to cover all of Third Mutual, and in United Mutual, the mowing will be completed Monday through Wednesday. Please be patient as the teams adjust to the new schedule and the change of seasons. On the screen before you, I just wanted to share the work order satisfaction results from February 2025. When residents have a completed service request, they receive an email from Resident Services asking them to rate their experience. On the screen before you are those results. We have in the first column, call center experience. 82% rated our experience with the call center at excellent or good. Moving to the next column, the maintenance experience was rated at 80% excellent or good. Moving to response time, 81% rated us as excellent or good. Were employees courteous and professional? 88% of our residents rated this experience as excellent or good. Did the service meet expectations? Again, 80% rated the service as excellent or good. And we do continue to follow up on substandard results. And lastly, I will conclude with a reminder about community services. They are hosting a resales question and answer session during its spring real estate forum. So if anyone has questions about this process, they're welcome to attend. This will be held on Wednesday, May 7th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at Clubhouse 1. Seats are limited, so please RSVP to realtorforums@vmsinc.org. And that concludes my update this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Good information. Next is open forum. It's 3 minutes per speaker. And all this long mumbo jumbo, I don't think I want to read all this because you're all used to it. Please be controlled in what you say to people. Do we have any speakers this morning?
Yes, our first speaker is Chris Collins.
All right. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Good morning, Chris Collins, 3306Q. I'm here with an update from the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village to tell you a bit of what we do on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. So, help when life throws a curveball. Sometimes life can throw unexpected curveballs. For example, recent rise in inflation has upset many budgets. Weather extremes can raise energy costs. Illnesses can take you off track, or a death of a spouse can change financial security. Many residents have heard that the Foundation of Laguna Woods can help when residents encounter such hard times. For example, by paying an electric bill, getting a new medication not covered by health insurance, providing grocery cards, or securing help after a hospital stay. While temporary help from the foundation of Laguna Woods Village can make a difference to deflect that curveball, here are some examples of the temporary help that we have recently provided. The Foundation of Laguna Woods helped a woman pay for her past due Southern California Edison bill. She had recently had a significant increase in medication costs, and she had fallen behind with receiving a disconnection notice. Without foundation assistance, she may have had her service disconnected. The Foundation of Laguna Woods Village helped a resident with dementia who lives alone and experienced falls, and we helped her to obtain an emergency response device. Recently, the resident used that device to call the paramedics after a fall. Otherwise, she may have been left alone on the floor without a way to get help. A resident on a fixed income was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Without the finances to pay for caregiving, the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village stepped in to cover the cost of caregiving as she entered hospice care. This support provided the resident's family with peace of mind as they transitioned to moving her into their home to care for her. How can a resident get such assistance? All you have to do is go to social services, which is located at the rear of the community center building on the first floor. Trained staff can help also, and they can be reached by calling 949-597-4267, and they will explain how to qualify for such temporary emergency assistance. Privacy is ensured and all the requests are kept confidential. If financial assistance is provided, the foundation pays the bill directly for the resident. With social services, the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village works to ensure access to temporary help when finances become tight. So for more information about many of our services and programs, please go to our website, which is thefoundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org, or you can contact the foundation at 949-268-2246, or at the foundation at comline.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Darlene Marvin.
Hello. Okay, this is really long, so I'm going to shorten it up because I'm not even sure it's appropriate for this meeting. My name is Darlene Marvin, and I'm speaking on behalf of the California Club. A decision came up at the CAC meeting on March 13th regarding events that clubs have in the clubhouses. And it was regarding that you were only allowed 4 events at the PAC, four times at the PAC per year for each club. That the discussion went round and around. It was then turned over to the GRF. So I guess the confusion a little bit is that there was nothing on the agenda about that. And there was confusion that if someone had an event in a clubhouse, that was a fundraiser. And that you shouldn't be limited to 4 at the PAC. Someone could get 6 at the PAC if they don't do any in the clubhouses, or whatever that looks like. So that's why it was referred here. And I didn't see it on the agenda, so I don't even know really where the whole thing's going after reading through all of this. But basically, we shouldn't label club events and clubhouses as fundraisers because we have one every month, and then we also have one a couple times a year in clubhouses that they're fun events, and it's basically to raise money for our club to buy different stuff, to get better bands, to do whatever we have to do. So we shouldn't label club events in the clubhouses as fundraisers just because they charge an entrance fee. And even if a club considers their clubhouse event to be a fundraiser, we should not limit clubs to 4 fundraisers, including the PAC. We should limit PAC fundraisers to 4 and clubhouse events and fundraisers only to the limitations of reservation requirements. And I'm kind of looking around, and this is probably not in this realm anyway. It should be the CAC. So I'm not sure why it was even forwarded on to GRF. But basically, that's our comments from the California Club.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who is next?
And next speaker is Manny Talui.
Sorry?
I'm here to basically express my frustration with the resident services for the lack of transparency and follow up with the really urgent issues. My cooktop, went out about 10 days ago, and I called, and they were supposed to contact me to tell me, when they're going to replace it. The cooktop is an essential, item in any household, and for them not to even, bother to give me a call and let me know what's going on when they're going to be doing this thing is rather ridiculous. And I don't know about that statistic that you put up there. I don't believe it, iota of that. It was all crap. That's it.
What is your unit number, sir?
419B.
419? Okay, thank you.
Next speaker is Nancy Carlson.
Did they lengthen this? Good morning. I want to thank all of you for your service. As you know, I'm a United Director, and I serve on quite a few GRF committees as well as United committees. And I know what it takes to do this job and the time commitment that it does,
Nancy,
and that you're forfeiting.
can I request you to speak in the microphone, please?
I'm trying to.
Thank you. Just pull it down.
It's the speaker.
Okay.
It's the mix.
Yeah. Usually this thing flies off.
I'm sorry if I threw
Has
anything
been
off.
repaired.
Oh, it looks like it's longer too.
It's
So I'm
only
not-
for,
so I'm not
especially for
crazy.
you, for taller people.
So I'm not crazy. Basically, what I wanted to do, I'm speaking off the cuff this morning. The budgets are coming up. And so one of the comments that I have is for us directors and those on the committees, show up in person. It really makes a difference in planning and discussion to be in person. Zoom was fine substitute for pandemic-related things or if somebody's recovering from some situation at home. But there is nothing like having a peer in the boardroom or the committee chamber. It's really imperative. And I don't think I need to expound on that any further. I want to compliment the president for making, I think it was 2 months ago, saying, we're going to be doing the budgeting and all you have to do is look at the Wall Street Journal and around the country. We all know the costs are rising, inflation, so on and so forth. And so we have 250 plus clubs and activities and amenities. But some things are going to have to change into the future. What they are, that's not for us to make subjective decisions or clubs to come in with torches and pitchforks targeting directors. I want mine, and I don't care about the others. It's got to be a level playing field. So to that extent, I urge VMS and this board to put urgency on an item in one of the committees that I work on, which is the smart cards. It takes puts objectivity into the equation and subjectivity out. We cannot just rely on data that is on hand-signed-in sheets for all these clubs, amenities, and facilities, and have the clubs come in and say, well, that's not accurate information. I empathize with them. It's not. So that has to be a priority. And to be honest with you, in 2025, there's just no excuse for it. This badge that I wear doesn't get me anywhere. The badge that I have that is my Laguna Woods hasn't worked for years. If I go to the library, it doesn't work. If I go anywhere else, it doesn't work. You must make that a priority. The third point I want to make is that the charters, the club charters, that's real important at the committee level or at this level that the charters all be reviewed carefully. The woman who spoke earlier this morning kind of speaks to that very point. The charters have to be pretty clear so that you can make objective decisions in committee and relay that information about what is appropriate and not. And then the final comment that I have is page 24 of the Board of Directors Handbook explicitly sets forth in budgeting or in making requests that the chairs of committees may make requests, the chairs of the committees or the president may make requests of staff for information. They need that information to do budget planning and analytics. Directors can't come to budget meetings where they aren't prepared themselves. So it's not confrontational, but it's a requirement. They don't have to go through hoops. We had a lot of problems with that last year. I don't want to see that perpetuated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, our last speaker is Mr. John Beckett.
I'm trying to resolve a dispute with GRF. Our disagreement concerns $9 million that was taken from our trust facilities fund. Last month, I offered to resolve our dispute in binding arbitration. President Bada was kind enough to respond immediately. He said, "The board is unwilling to engage in binding arbitration. However, the board is willing to engage in mediation." 2 years ago, I accepted an offer of mediation from GRF's corporate counsel. This is what I said. April 21st. Thanks for your April 17 letter. Okay, I agree to go to mediation. I'm willing to search the panel of low-cost mediators and arbitrators on the Orange County Superior Court's website. Are you willing to search the San Diego Superior Court's website? I waited 30 days for a reply, and I didn't get it. So I sent another letter. Dear Ms. Poole, I searched the OC Superior Court's panel of low-cost mediators, and I'm sad to report very few of them are attorneys. However, there are dozens of attorneys on the court's panel of low-cost arbitrators. I have enclosed a copy of the court's civil arbitrator list. Please choose an arbitrator whose opinion your client will respect. Again, I waited 30 days. Finally, I got this from GRF's corporate counsel. It says, the mediation needed to be completed within 90 days. The time has expired. Mediation cannot succeed unless both parties act in good faith. I know most of you on this board, and I trust all of you to act in good faith. But how can I trust the GRF Corporation? Mediation is out. Binding arbitration is out. Now what? The Davis Sterling offers us a third method. Binding mediation. Binding mediation is unique for two reasons. The parties must promise to make a decision, and the mediator participates in the decision-making process. I offer to resolve our dispute in binding mediation, and I promise to pay 1/2 of the mediator's fee. Thank you for considering my offer.
Somebody needs to turn their phone off. Sorry, John. My apology.
May I repeat my last two sentences?
Please.
Okay. I offer to resolve our dispute in binding mediation, and I promise to pay 1/2 of the mediator's fee. Thank you for considering my offer.
Thank you. All right. Any other speakers? All right. So maybe answer all the residents. He's gone. First one was Chris Collins. As always, Chris, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much for all the good things that your foundation does, and we truly appreciate it. And I hope everybody here in the village were listening. What a wonderful job the foundation does, and how to reach out to them in case, I don't want to say the correct word, but something happens. Next one was Darlene Marvin. Are you the one who is really associated with the California Club?
Yes, I'm on the board.
Okay. As far as I understand, each club is allowed 4 fundraisers. So apart from that, I don't know how to elaborate on this. If you do 4, then that's it. But if you are trying to do more than 4, then you will be questioned.
And what do you consider a fundraiser?
We don't want to get into this detail, If you want to talk more about it, then go to the CAC meeting and question over there.
We went there.
Okay.
And that's when they referred it to the GRF meeting.
They had-
Basically, a fundraiser is if you make money, correct?
You're trying to raise funds for your event.
Correct.
For your club.
Every club that does something in a clubhouse is fundraising because they're
No.
collecting money.
No, it's entertainment and having.
Wait,
Yes.
yes.
It's a response to member comments. It's
Not
not, it's not
correct.
back and forth.
That's right. And I mentioned that you should go to CAC.
The CAC.
Okay.
And if they want to bring it up to us, then we will discuss it further.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
That was done March 13th.
It was to create an ad hoc, and the CAC meeting is coming up. It's next Thursday, and we will talk about it. But the current policy is what the current policy is, and the ad hoc will be created, or there'll be some discussion on Thursday.
Okay, so we'll
Next Thursday.
take it up at the Thursday
Please.
meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Sorry, we can't
Thank
do it
you.
here. All right, next was Mr. Tooley. I think we have noted your unit number. We will send a message out to the required department and make sure that you are taken care of as soon as possible. And understand that. Ms. Carlson, I don't know if I need to respond to any of it. Thank you. All points are noted, and we will duly follow them. And Mr. Beckett has left, so I don't know how to respond to that, but we have, it's a legal matter, so we will have it forwarded to that. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your comments, and I will keep moving on. So we are now up to consent calendar. We have okay, in the consent calendar we have looking for a motion to pass the consent calendar. Allison and Brad, thank you. If there is no objection, then the consent calendar is approved. Thank you. Unfinished business, entertain a motion to approve vehicle replacement policy. Vehicle replacement policy strategy. Looking for a motion to pass that.
How about I read it first?
Oh, yeah, that's right. 11, item 11A.
Resolution 90-25-XX, revision of the vehicle replacement policy, vehicle replacement strategy. Whereas a revision of the vehicle replacement policy, vehicle replacement strategy was necessary to increase the life expectancy of electric vehicles from 5 to 10 years, and therefore, be it resolved, on April 1st, 2025, the Board of Directors approves a revision of the vehicle replacement policy, vehicle replacement strategy by increasing the life expectancy of electric vehicles from 5 to 10 years. And resolve further that the resolution 90-22-46 adopted October 4th, 2022 is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. March initial notification, a 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied. I offer this resolution.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Do you want to discuss any further? Yes?
Good morning. First, I want to say thank you to Stephen and Gary, for you guys have now been working on this thing quite heavily. And I really am greatly appreciative of the efforts put forth. Vehicle replacement is kind of one of the biggest items in our capital expenditure budget. It's always the biggest pole in the tent. And I'm hoping that we see, with this policy change, that we see, we see some value in that and coming back into our capital budget. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a comment.
Okay.
I want to say that the language of the proposition is a little bit poor. We do not, sitting here on this board, change the life expectancy of vehicles, okay? And I think it would be very good if the General Services Department would assemble some statistics on life. This is particularly of electric vehicles. Would assemble some statistics because most vehicles last well beyond 10 years. I just wanted to bring up the fact that we, by this resolution, do not change the life expectancy. This is when the vehicles come up for review. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any comments? Okay, if not, then call the question. Do you want to vote for it? Oh, we have to touch the screen. Oh my God. We're moving forward, huh?
Here's your name.
I don't even see where it is.
There you are.
Motion passes.
Sorry?
The motion passed.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Next item is to entertain a motion to approve the updated committee assignments, but I would like to change the ITech committee to continue. So with that, with the changes,
I'll second that. I'll
thank
second
you.
that.
Thank you. Correct?
No comment.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second, and do we have any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Yes, sir?
Could you please give us your reason?
I can do that.
Because you introduced it at the meeting.
Yeah.
This was introduced at your request, so
Yes.
I'd like to see the change.
Let me
Okay, go ahead.
in support of this motion to continue the ITAC, the committee is the oversight for the ERP project that is going on, that is in phase 2. We still have about a half a dozen, I don't want to say apps, just things that we need to make sure get switched over to the new system that is important that we oversee the smooth transition. We're getting close and tight with the budget, and so it's important that we stay on point a little bit longer. What we can do, because we are getting so many committees, we'll talk a little bit more in the committee report. But yeah, we can change that. We're not going to meet every month, but we'll meet like every other month, and maybe get a report from Chuck to the GRF committee as to how that other month is going. But yeah, we need to stay on point to see about. I am so sorry.
Please turn it off.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that, but turn it off.
It is.
The last committee meeting that we had a few days back, we were presented with the progress that they're making. It's going really well. They estimate to complete the whole project by the end of this year. So we were under the thought process that if it's going to be over by December, so do we still need to continue? So that was the reason why we had put this committee on a ending basis. But now we are with good further information that we decided to let it continue with less frequency. Yes.
I'd just like to say that, generally speaking, in my experience, when you have a specialized committee on an issue like this, the committee stays intact until the project is done and finished. So as Kush has said, this is going to go to year end. Staff didn't have any objection to continuing on to have the meetings and make the reports. Primarily, what we hear in the ITAC committee is a report from staff on the progress. Are we on time? Are we late? Are we early? Are we ahead of schedule? Are we on budget? So it's basically an informational sharing meeting between staff and the ITAC committee. And again, we discussed it as committee members as we're thinking that it's important because the committee is made up of not only members of GRF, but also the housing mutuals. And those committee members can then go back and report to their individual boards to keep them informed. So until the project is finished, it just seemed to make sense that we remain intact. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, if there is no other comment, then let's vote.
What?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Marie.
Okay. This list still has me in positions for United, and I think those should be removed.
As we discussed during our agenda prep meeting, it's up to United to remove that. So at the next United meeting, they'll stricken you from their meeting. So the upcoming GRF meeting in May will remove you from the committee list.
Okay. So do we vote on the screen?
Yeah, so we'll need you guys to vote to approve the amendment that you made to add the ITAC committee back on.
Okay.
And then you can make a motion to approve the committees.
Okay, so let's vote on the first part. Thank you, Michaela, for guiding us. Can we do it on screen or?
Yes. This is voting on the amendment.
Are we are voting on the amendment, right?
Yeah, you're voting on the amendment.
Okay. So let's vote now.
Again? Didn't take. No, sorry.
Okay. Okay, that one passes. So now let's vote on the main.
We have to go through the.
Yeah, if you had a motion, yeah.
Do we? We've already read it, so we don't need to read it again.
Yeah, we just need a motion to approve the amended.
Okay, so we passed the motion to approve the amendment.
Yes, now we need.
So, okay, I call for a motion to approve the main motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Can you read? No? Okay, okay, sorry. I'm trying
Okay,
to.
Resolution 90-25-XX, GRF committee assignment, committee appointments. Resolved April 1st, 2025, that the following persons are hereby appointed and ratified to serve in the committees of this corporation. I'm not going to read all the names. I'm going to read only the changes.
Perfect.
Community Activities Committee. Kush Bada is removed as alternate. Brian Reinhardt becomes alternate, and Marie Collins is added as a member. Finance Committee. Manohar Motwani is removed as alternate and becomes a full member. Ellen Leonard becomes the alternate. Okay. The Communications Committee is retired. Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, no changes. Mobility and Vehicles, Steve Leonard removed his chair and Gary Durst becomes the chair. Manohar Motwani becomes a full-time member, and Marie Collins is added as an alternate. Security and Communities Activities Commission, Steve Leonard is removed, Manohar Motwani becomes a full member, and Martin Rosa is added as alternate. An advisor has been added, and it is Mr. Joe Chirillo. He is a detective from Beverly Hills. He has a long career in law enforcement. Okay, disaster preparedness. Ed Marcus is added as an advisor. Energy Ad Hoc Committee, Steve Leonard is removed, and advisors are added are Bill Walsh and SK Park. Revenue Generating Committee. Ellen Leonard has been added. The Inspector General Position Development Ad Hoc Committee is retired. And those are the changes for this month.
Thank you. Thank you. So do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a motion.
I offer this resolution, sorry.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? Yes?
I have an amendment to one committee. Can I do that here, or is it too late?
Too late.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it urgent?
Well, it's to add an advisor to the Disaster Preparedness Task Force.
Somebody calling us on a secret phone? Yes?
Speaker.
What? It's on.
No, I'm so sorry. I wanted you to use the speaker.
Oh, the microphone.
Yeah, it is on.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The microphone.
Is it possible to add another person?
You have to put your...
Is it possible to add another person to?
I don't know. Can we do it? I'm asking.
Unless I'm under a misunderstanding, it's the duty of the chair of the committee to ask that the advisor be added.
Okay.
So at the next disaster
At the next,
preparedness
you're
meeting,
right, you're right.
the chair
Sorry,
can
thank
do
you very
that,
much.
and then it'll come back
I
around.
thought so, but I was not sure.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. So I think it's time to vote, correct? All right. All right, all in favor? All opposed? Everything in general? So voting is done?
We need Brad as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And moving right along. Motion carries. We're moving forward. Okay, the next item is to entertain a motion to approve Village Community Fund project application for the Camera Club Photo Studio Modernization Project. Motion for that? Any second?
How about I read it?
We need to read it first?
Yeah.
Don't we have to?
No.
Okay.
Resolution 90-25-XX, Village Community Fund, project application for the Camera Club Studio Modernization Project. Whereas the VFC, a California Public Benefit Corporation, nonprofit, 501c3, formed in December 2017, is organized by residents of Laguna Woods Village for the purpose of providing support and programs, services, and facilities to enrich the lives of older adults by supporting projects within Laguna Woods Village. However, this organization is not affiliated with any governing body or committee of the Golden Run Foundation, United Mutual, Third Mutual, or Mutual 50. And whereas on March 13th, 2025, the Community Activities Committee reviewed and recommended that the Village Community Fund project application for the Camera Club Photo Studio Modernization Project. Now therefore, be it resolved, April 1st, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the Village Community Fund project application for the Camera Club Studio Modernization Project, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out the purposes of this resolution. I offer this resolution.
I am looking for a second. Second, Martin. Well, any discussion?
The CAC reviewed this, and you can see on page 20 of 22 a list of the items that are needed to update the Camera Club. And the Village Community Fund raises money, helps the club raise money to fund these items that are needed, like printers and cables, and there's some computers on there. And I asked if they're identified with a SKU number or some type of, and they all would be, and there will be a policy as to not to, if they will allow any of the equipment to be removed, there will be some policy involved. But we reviewed this, and I approve this, and I support this.
Good, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, none. So let's go ahead and vote for it. Okay. Motion carries. Okay. Next item is where are we? Number C. Entertain a motion to approve Village Community Fund Project application.
No, we just.
Huh? We did that? That's number C.
12C.
We have two similar ones.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to approve Village Community Fund Project application for the Equestrian Center Help the Herd program.
The Herd project.
You want to read that?
Yep. Resolution 90-25-XX. Phase 3 Village Community Fund VCF Equestrian Center Help the Herd program. Whereas VCF, a California Public Benefit Corporation, nonprofit 5013, formed in December 2017, was organized by residents of the Laguna Woods Village for the purpose of providing and supporting programs and services that enrich the lives of older adults by supporting projects Laguna Woods. However, this organization is not affiliated with GRF, United Mutual, Third Mutual, or Mutual 50. And whereas on March 13th, 2025, the Community Activities Committee reviewed and recommended Phase 3 of the Village Community Fund Equestrian Center Help the Herd ongoing fundraising support, and now therefore be resolved April 1st, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the Phase 3 Village Community Fund Equestrian Center Help the Herd ongoing fundraising support, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to, on behalf of the corporation, to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I offer this resolution.
Looking for a second? Martin, seconds.
Okay.
So are there any discussion? Is there any
I'll
discussion?
second, or did we get a second? Okay.
Martin did second it.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we can discuss it.
Okay, discussion time.
Yeah. This again is, this is a CAC committee, and this is the VFC Village VCF fund, which funds projects throughout the village, and they will help the Equestrian Center put on fundraisers or some type of an event to raise money for the third round, and they didn't want to come for every dollar that they want to raise, so this will be a general open fund. They've already raised $36,986 and $10,000 in 2021. So this is for the project that will do the the shade for the horses. So it's a good fund.
Good.
So
It's a good item too.
I support it.
Okay. So are we ready to vote? Oh, Andy, you have a comment?
I think it's a great effort. One thing I would like to know is the herd. What is the herd? Do we own 5 horses? Does anybody know?
We own 10.
Pardon?
We own 10.
We own 10 horses, is that true?
Yeah.
Ready?
I didn't think we did.
GRF owns 10 horses. That's what I was told. Okay, I may be wrong.
Or how many? Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a point to talk about right now, so 5.
Well, I'm just asking, what is the herd? How many horses are in the herd?
It's this is
Yes,
just,
come up to the microphone, please.
Please use
and
the
identify
microphone,
yourself.
or-
Yeah, identify yourself.
Hi, Robin Brooks, 599F. The herd includes every horse at the equestrian center. So it's not just for horses that boarders own, it's for every GRF horse plus boarders.
Okay, so GRF horses are owned horses. Non-GRF horses are horses owned by the residents or non-residents, correct?
Correct. It's every horse that is at the stables.
So every horse in the equestrian center, because what we're doing, all the horses can use. I mean, that makes sense. But how many horses are in the GRF owned?
I can answer that for you. There are 9 GRF horses, including 1 mini horse and 1 leased horse.
9 in total? Okay, and one of them is leased. And how many are retired? We
I don't
know.
have that number right now.
And that includes the little guy, Sebastian, too, I assume.
Yeah.
So Andy, that's not the question at this point. We are
I
just
just want to
trying
know how many
to
horses are in the herd.
approve
What is
the
the
money.
problem? Okay, sorry. Thank you for your effort. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
I will just mention that we have currently 9 GRF horses. One of those 9 is a leased horse. So we own 8 total horses, but we do have the mini horse, which is not rideable, and then we also have Jerry, who is no longer able to be used in the lesson plan either.
Thank you, thank you. All right, a herd is, who? 1 second. Yeah, Diane, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that that's really just a catchy phrase. I forget what they called the first phase. That's what they called the second phase. It's going to if the equestrian center needs money to do something, they can use it for that. If it's usually the GRF horses. If they have some sort of medical issue, then they'll address that. But they don't usually. I don't think that the money usually goes to people to the horses that are personally owned. I think the owners are responsible for that.
Yeah, so thank you, Diane. Herd is not a thing to talk about in this particular context. It's like saying team, my team. So this is a herd of donkeys, horses, cattle, so it's a herd.
Okay, so it's in total. That's fine.
It's
You know,
just a
but
gr-
when you say
it's a group-
GRF, now when you say GRF, to us, GRF means we own it. And so we own 9 horses. Great, thank you. That's what I wanted.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Can I mention something? I just wanted to ask, who said Jerry is still there? How old is Jerry?
35.
He's the 35? Yeah, my granddaughters took lessons from Jerry 10, 11 years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other? Yes?
Just, well, we were over checking out the electrical over there, chatting with one of the volunteers, and they indicated that one of the horses was being retired within a day or two, something like that, and that's where I heard about Jerry.
Okay.
Thought it was O'Hara that
right
was
now-
retired. Yeah.
Yeah, we are
O'Hara,
kind of digressing into unnecessary stuff. Huh?
We do have one more member comment, with Dick Rader.
Oh, yes.
Dick Rader, 270D. Excuse me, I want to laud any club that doesn't come to GRF and ask for money. They're trying to raise money, as I understand it, irrespective of coming to you to ask for funds. And I hope you will support them in that endeavor.
Thank you, Dick. Anyway, if there are no other comments, I'm going to call the question to vote, please, if you are ready.
Yeah, I do have a comment. I was here at 9 o'clock, but could make an exception.
You should have filled out a form. Anyway,
No,
what is it?
Make the comment, please.
Make the comment, sir. We can fill it out later.
This is a comment about using the clubhouses for our own personal use. Like we used to.
Hang on a second. We are trying to finish this equestrian center thing.
Okay.
Once we finish the voting, maybe I'll allow you to do it.
Okay.
Give me a, okay.
You fill out your form.
Please, you can fill the form out in the meantime. Thank you. All right. Let's vote, everybody.
Motion passes.
Okay. Motion carries? Yes. I can't see it. All right.
12D.
Should we finish that and then let the gentleman talk, or?
I would recommend that we get through new business.
Okay.
And then if you want to get to business.
All right. So,
Okay.
12D.
Resolution 90-25-XX, Energy Ad Hoc Committee Goals and Major Tasks. Whereas on October 1, 2024, the Board of Directors considered and approved the formation of the Energy Ad Hoc Committee pursuant to Article 7, Section 7.1.2 and Section 7.5 of the bylaws of this corporation. And whereas on March 13th, 2025, the Energy Ad Hoc Committee reviewed and approved the attached goals and major tasks of the Ad Hoc Committee in carrying out its responsibilities, and whereas the Energy Ad Hoc Committee may review and reassess as needed the adequacy of these goals and major tasks and recommend to the board any revisions or improvements that are considered necessary and advisable. Now, therefore, be it resolved, on April 1, 2025, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the Energy Ad Hoc Committee goals and major tasks as attached to the official minutes, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I offer the resolution.
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. Any comments, discussion? Yes, Gary?
We're hard at work on this. We are already down through hire energy consultant who is busy doing solar panel layouts on the roofs and line drawings, and are in contact with our SCE rep, and we already found one very interesting thing. The equestrian center is associated with 2 meter readings, and one is a 240 that we found at the equestrian center. The other one is a 480 that we haven't located, and we've asked for SCE's help in finding it. It looks like it's between Starbucks and the corner, and it's a 480 service, and we're paying over $2,000 a month, and we're wondering if we're entitled to free Starbucks coffee.
All right. Any other comments? Anybody? Okay. Yes.
I wanted to ask about the ad hoc committee goals and major tasks. Page 6 of 6, it says GRF has sufficient reserves to buy solar to avoid the proposed increases. This does not give approval for the purchase of any solar, right?
This is just approve the tasks.
Approve tasks.
Just, okay.
Yes, Martin.
Yeah, that, I believe, is an opinion, okay, that's been offered to say that it's sufficient reserves. I mean, it's something that we have to mull over and determine it's where it should be.
Okay.
But I think this is a good move, because power or utilities and insurance are the biggest bogeys in our budget increases. So
right.
Okay.
whatever we can do to go after power.
Okay. Any other comment? All right, if not, then let's get to voting. Okay. All right. Then, somebody is not voted yet. Do you know who?
Yeah, it's Egon.
Egon, Egon, your vote. Yeah. You have to check it on the board over there. Okay, so we have 11. So motion passes. All right. Now, next, entertain a motion to approve expenditure not to exceed 65,000 for a structural assessment and cost estimate to refurbish Building E.
Okay, Resolution 90-25-XX, Building E Structural Assessment. Whereas the GRF Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee is considering options for the replacement of Building E and is relocating of VMS staff currently using leased office space, and whereas on March 24th, 2025, the Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee voted to recommend that the board approve funding in the amount of $65,000 for the recommended structural assessment. Now therefore be it resolved, April 1st, 2025, that the board of directors of this corporation are hereby approves a budget expenditure not to exceed $65,000 for the recommended structural assessment and cost estimate from the approved capital plan project JP 23031000, Building E Design Development and Construction, and resolve further the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purposes of this resolution. I offer the resolution.
Allison seconds, okay.
Comment?
Any comment? Yes, go ahead.
So I just want to have this in the record so everyone understands it. The company that's being proposed to do the assessment has previously done work for us, and there is a letter in this packet on page 7 of 10, dated October 17, 2020. Okay? So 4.5 years ago, whatever. And I'd just like to read a couple of highlights here. It says, the purpose of this letter is to summarize the structural observation that was performed on October 9th of 2020. So we've had one structural inspection already. However, it says, there are various cracks throughout the building that appear in the walls, around the doors, windows, ceilings, and concrete floor. There's also signs of heaving and settling in the floor slab, which is apparent by an unlevel floor as well as varying heights in the ceiling. In some areas, the floor can vary as much as 5 inches and a horizontal distance of 30 feet or less. It is inconclusive if the exterior foundation system has been subjected to heaving or settling. The recommendation that came out of this letter was more work needed to be done for the evaluation, and we're getting around to it now 4.5 years later. So I support the recommendation, but I just wanted everyone to know that this didn't just come out as someplace yesterday. We're following up on previous work. A little late, but we're here. Good. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to, I assume if we approve this resolution, which we will, I think, there will be a meeting held with Mr. Cordosa. And I highly recommend that at that meeting, there be at least one representative from GRF, from Third Mutual, from United, and from Mutual 50 at this meeting, because the previous, as Steve pointed out, it's been 4 years in working. The problems with the previous times when we hired consultants is there were no representative of any of the boards present at the kickoff meeting. And it is my opinion that that can really was one of the major faults of the problems that we've gone through. And we should have somebody there so we can address our needs and our desires and question what it is the gentleman wants to tell us.
So noted.
Thank you.
Yes, Martin.
Yeah, like the PAC sound system where we wanted an independent evaluator and nobody was there, and then turned around. Sure enough, there was an item that got overlooked that we had to do like a fast change order, and it's like, I'm going to say this, that, Building A, we've thrown a lot of money at it. We saw what the Austin group came to us with, and we get these rough order of magnitudes. Now we're going to get this assessment. I'm just, we say not to exceed 65,000. Who came up with that number?
Staff.
I'm going back and forth on this thing. So just, I've seen the pains of what has occurred with respect to Building E. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Marie.
I'd just like to get a little better comfort zone about who is going to do this. I presume you want to hire a outside consultant, and do you already have someone in mind, and do they have any scale of, cost?
Is a scope of service.
Yes, thank you for the question.
I still have one more comment, so you can handle all the comments together. Initially, it came up as between 45 and 65,000. So that was my estimation, that minimum is going to be around 45, maximum was going to be around 65. If we put the word 65, then the bid would be 65. So I want to let people know how I feel about the money, that we don't want to just let them feel like there's hanging fruit, just go pick it. So that's how it is. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I think I remember the person was going to be Cardoso.
Yeah.
Wasn't it going to be Cardoso, the same one that did the visual inspection? He was going to be the one that does the structural inspection. I just want to know if I'm correct.
Yes.
Am
I don't
correct?
know about that. I can't
Yeah.
answer it. Yes, Manny.
Thank you. Yes, that is correct. As stated in the staff report, we are recommending that Cardozo Associates, who's an architectural and professional structural engineering firm, conduct this assessment. Just to set the board at ease, this letter that's in the packet was the visual inspection that was done, as Director Leonard mentioned, some 4+ years ago. The recommendation was not ignored. It was presented to the GRF MNC committee at the time, and the MNC committee at the time decided they didn't want to move forward with an assessment then. Instead, they directed that the building be demolished and that a new building be constructed. So I just want to make sure that the record is clear on that. The estimated cost for this, as presented in the staff report, is to get approval for a not to exceed amount of $65,000. So we don't think we'll need the full amount, but we don't want to have to come back to the board and ask for more. The consultant's cost estimate for the scope of work that's included in the staff report, we give you a very detailed scope of work of what they're going to do, is closer to the $45,000 estimate, but does not include the destructive testing that will have to be done. We're going to have to go and have a vendor come in and remove portions of the drywall, remove portions of the ceiling, both of which have asbestos and will need to be treated as such, and we'll also be removing portions of the flooring to expose the flooring. So that would also come out of this not to exceed $65,000.
Okay. Coach. Anybody? Yes.
Just an observation. I've brought this up on many occasions, and we have made some changes in the way that we present information. For example, now you have to log in as a resident to be able to see much of the financial information from the mutuals or for GRF, where it was just completely open to the public. And my concern back then, before it was implemented, was that, we publish a capital plan and it goes years in advance, and potential vendors and contractors can see what we're budgeting for projects and then say, oh, well, I can come in 10% less and maybe I'll get the bid, rather than them having to build up numbers from the ground up. In this instance, once again, we have a condition where we are publicly speaking in an open meeting about going forward with an expense, and that is now public information. To me, this should have been brought in closed because it's a contractual matter, and it involves money. But that's just my opinion, and I wanted to state that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, sorry.
We do have member comment when you're ready.
On this item?
Yes.
Okay. But first, has everybody on the board spoken? Okay, then let's go ahead and have the member. Thank you.
Good morning again. To expand, I've been on this committee for some time in the Genesis, and then was one of the people designated to study it specifically. And I was the one that requested and ultimately received all the engineering reports. I provided all of the directors, I believe all of you at one point or another received a chart that summarized all of that. And on it was Mr. Cardozo's on October, I think 17th, if my memory serves me correctly, 2020, provided a report. It was a visual walkthrough. For those of you who do not understand from architectural and engineering standpoint, that's a visual walkthrough. I spoke with him, I think within last week or the week before, and just to ascertain where he was on in his business, and he actually answered the phone and I spoke with him. And he provided me some important illuminating information. I support this motion, by the way, based on this. One, when he first went through in the visual walkthrough, the building was entirely inhabited by employees working. So therefore, as he said to me, we couldn't punch a hole in the ceiling just to see what the roof looked like. We couldn't, do a core drilling in the floor, so on and so forth. And he said, and he asked me a few questions. I said, that we had just done a tour of the building, and other than when they moved out, they left it sort of a personnel debris field and left it quite messy inside. It was open and available for him to do any of that. And also, I will comment, all of our buildings, I just went through a DNR at my residence, has asbestos in it. So they know how to deal with that. So don't let that be your horror story or reason to vote against something. The other point I wish to make, and which I made to the committee and I think was most relevant, is we have never had a decision from a professional on if we could reno this building or not. All of the other decisions that we are going to be making in space and utilization in building and planning is predicated on us addressing this now and not perpetuating it further. It was a mistake to let it slide. We had boards who had a vision for what they wanted to do and took control. We've had recalls connected to all of these things. And where we are is we must deal in the present. And so I urge you to vote for this so we get the Building E professionally assessed. It's going to happen pretty quickly. He's pleased to know the building is empty, and we will have a definitive action and route to go on whether it's torn down or it's renoed, and he's inclined to think it's a reno. Like everything, it just has to be brought up to code. And if there's mechanisms that something has to be leveled with the foundation, there's all sorts of things, from concrete to even foam things. So let's leave it to the professional to give us that finding so we can know and move forward. That's my recommendation. I urge the board to pass this.
Thank you.
Can we vote? Can we vote?
Yes. Let's vote, guys. Move forward. Okay. Okay, 911. So motion carries?
Question.
Yes, sir.
You had a member who wanted to make.
I am going to, so let's finish this, and now that we have finished with all, sir,
Yes.
what was the gentleman's name?
He's in the back. You want to speak?
Somebody wanted to
Tom?
make a comment, are you ready? We are ready for you now.
When you get the committee reports, can I do landscape first? 'Cause I
Yeah,
have to go.
sure, sure.
Yes, good morning again. Thank you for letting me speak. I've been a resident for close to 10 years here. I live fairly close to Clubhouse 6, and before all this COVID nonsense, we were able to use Clubhouse 6 and pay a small rental fee. We had a couple Mother's Day parties and that kind of thing. Now, it's not available, especially on the weekend. During the week, I will walk over there and check things out, just because that's the kind of person I am. I like to see what's going on in the neighborhood. It's, as you know, it's a beautiful clubhouse, a Spanish-style clubhouse. It's being hardly used at all for anything. So my idea is to get back to normal and open it up a little bit. I'd even be willing to host like a Monday morning coffee for the neighborhood kind of thing, just to see. I've had people, bring up things that they're lonely and they're in their homes, and something like this would be a good, like a stimulator thing. We could try it and see how it goes, that kind of thing. But my wife tried to rent Clubhouse 6 for her brother's 70th birthday party, and they told us, no, you can't do it on a Saturday because we don't have the staff. And to me, it's ridiculous. I mean, it used to be available, and we paid a small fee, and why can't we get back to that? So I'll let you guys talk if.
I have two questions for you.
Yes.
What is your name first?
My name is Tom.
Sorry?
Your name and address.
Correct.
53, I filled out a card, 5358 Algarobo, Unit A.
What's your last name?
Just like Porsche, but with an F, Porsche.
Okay.
What is that?
Foertsch, Porsche.
Okay. And your first name was Tom, you said?
Tom, yes.
Okay.
Kush, I could comment on that.
I would like you
Okay.
to. Yes.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah. It is the staff. We need a supervisor there. I understand there's people that will volunteer, but we need to have a supervisor there to open it up and on a weekend. And that is what we are looking for. So I appreciate you bringing the comment to me. I am the chair of the CAC, and I will talk with staff and see what the process is, okay? What is
Okay.
happening, okay?
But the other clubhouses are available. just
Yes.
Not Clubhouse 6.
Yeah, I know that, so, okay.
Yeah, the other clubhouses have multiple rooms available and at those locations, so a supervisor there can handle multiple rentals there, but that Clubhouse 6, only,
Okay.
it's just the one, right? You rent the whole thing there.
2 rooms.
Or is there 2 rooms?
I think it's
a couple.
2.
I understand correctly.
Yeah, and it is used during the
What
week.
is the capacity of Clubhouse 6?
It's got a great capacity up to 60 or 100 people. The
can do it.
point is that we don't have the staff to be available during the weekends. The other issue is there are volunteers who like to work there, but they're not. Not only that, to set up the tables and break down the tables, it doesn't need older people who are 70 and plus, and they're not able to. They say they'd like to do it, they do it once or twice, and then they say, sorry, thank you, I misunderstood. So
Yeah.
for that reason, we are controlled on what we can do and what we can't do. So I really like what you said. I also live very close to the Clubhouse 6 on Via Carrizo, and we love that place. It's just that we don't have the necessary staff, and we are working on it. That's our next step.
Okay.
Point of order?
Yes.
This is a committee-level issue.
Correct.
So
But I just want him to feel comfortable that we are doing something.
I think Ellen made that very clear as
Correct.
the chair of the committee, and I would like to
So
move on.
we'll look into it. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Please
Thank you.
let the staff have your contact information. Okay, with that, we have finished all our due process things. So next item is, do we want to take a break for a few minutes?
No,
Or do we want to move forward?
Do you have to make a report?
Yes.
Did you ask him to go first?
Yes, yes, he did.
Why don't we take his report?
So here, I would like to propose the following. Let Brad make his report.
Okay.
And then take a 5-minute break because he has to
Okay.
leave.
So
If
we'll
that's-
allow that to happen.
Is that okay with everyone?
Good point.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so next item is a committee report, and I'll have Brad give us a report on M&C and landscape, and then there is I'll tell you, I'll explain to you. Okay. So let Brad do the report of M&C.
Okay.
You can.
Report of the Landscape Committee. The committee met on February 12th. Our next meeting is May 14th in the boardroom and virtual. The one project that Landscape will be looking at doing this year is renovation of the landscape around Clubhouse 4. Report of the Maintenance and Construction Committee. The committee met on February 12th. The next meeting is April 9th at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom and with a virtual meeting. The main project that M&C has going on right now is pavers being placed around the pool at Clubhouse Tool, and then we'll move into actually resurfacing the pool at Clubhouse Tool. But that's the main projects that we have going on right now. Thank you.
That's what he said. Now we take a break, and after we come back, we'll do the necessary reports. Okay? Thank you. Sorry for the change, but there was a necessity. Okay. We would like to continue, so please, everybody return to your chairs. If we are ready, we can start our Director Ginocchio.
Wow, we have a full house, huh? Where'd everybody?
We scared everybody. They all ran.
On TV.
Okay, so now we are doing committee reports. Part of it was done. And the next one is report of the Finance Committee and financial reports. Director Ginocchio. Did I say it right, or is it Ginocchio?
No, I have to give three different things here. I have to give three different things, Kush. And first of all, we're going to start out with the Finance Committee per se, which met on February 19th. And our next meeting is April 16th at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom. It's also virtual. At that initial meeting in February 16th, we discussed the January results. It's kind of tough. One month doesn't tell you anything. And the way the budget is spread sometimes creates artificial variances. So the next meeting, we expect to be talking about March year-to-date statements, and there's more information there. Now, in the interim, this Friday, we are going to be going over the external audit. And the external audit will be producing year-end financial statements for United, Third, and for GRF. And once we get those statements, we'll be able to talk about year 24 results in some detail. So that's coming. All right. Next, we go to the regular report, which is our treasurer's report, and it has some slides, which I'm going to comment on. The first slide has a table of revenue and expenses for operating reserves and restricted funds, so it covers everything. Through the reporting period, February 28, 2 months, GRF had net revenue of $555,000 with a total revenue of $8.8 million, total expense of $8.3 million. We were worse than budget by $62,000, but again, it's so early in the year, doesn't really mean much unless it's a huge number. Expenses came in better than budget by $364,000, combined with total revenue worse than budget by $426,000. I want to mention that the total revenue was worse than budget. We were really concerned about revenue by $300,000, and that was due to a shortfall versus the plan, which spreads it out evenly, of 40 units. We had 40 less resales than we planned for. We expect this to even out as it has historically over the rest of the year. Typically, January and February are not big sales months. So, again, I'm pointing out it's just an artificial variance. We're okay on revenue right now. Let's go on to slide 2. The next table displays the operating fund activities. Again, this does not include reserves, which excludes non-operating revenues, expenses, and depreciation. This report shows a favorable variance of $219,000 through the reporting period, with total expense better than budget by $309,000, combined with non-assessment revenue worse than budget by $90,000. Just want to comment on that. Too loud? Oh, too close. All right, thank you. I usually don't speak loud enough, so okay. The expenses are favorable to budget. It's a large item in broadband, and broadband's kind of funny this year, so I'm not putting much into that. It has to do with cable programming charges, and I hope we can be very favorable on that, but it's too early to say. All right, let's go on to slide 3. Slide 3 shows our most significant operating fund variances by category, with given bars representing favorable variances to budget and orange bars representing unfavorable items. So I hope you all aren't colorblind. Overall, we had favorable variances in employee comp and related, $220,000. primarily due to vacancies in landscaping services and in general services for janitorial and fleet maintenance positions. The community events was favorable by $105,000 due to timing. In January, the sound system was under renovation at the PAC, and no events took place, resulting in lower expenses than budgeted. There's also some year-end accrual stuff. It's a mechanical thing, and how those work out, sometimes they can distort individual months. So it's nothing to be concerned about at this point. Professional fees was favorable by $83,000, primarily due to timing of billing for professional services being paid later than budget. This variance is expected to be reduced as billing payments catch up. As far as unfavorable, repairs and maintenance was unfavorable by $162,000, primarily in information services. Due to the timing of expense compared to the budget spread. Again, we often spread the budget evenly, and we know that expenses typically are lumpy. Annual subscription-based services related to information technology are prepaid at the beginning of the year, while the budget is allocated evenly across 12 months. So you have front loading, and that's what this is. Let's go on to slide 4. This slide shows sources of revenue other than the assessment, such as fees and rentals. Year to date, we received $1.9 million non-assessment operating fund revenue, as shown on this pie chart. Personally, I don't like this pie chart. I'm hoping that we can change it in the future, but that's what we have right now. We can see that our largest revenue category is broadband services, followed by other revenue, which includes class fees, electric vehicle charging, additional occupant fees, equestrian center fees, and RV storage fees, among others. Clubhouse rentals and events fees. Merchandise sales and golf revenue. These revenue categories offset costs and help keep assessments down. They are a necessary part of our business model, and we actively seek to increase them while meeting the needs of our residents. Slide 5. Consistent with prior months, our largest operating fund expense is compensation, followed by outside services expense. Of the $7.4 million, excluding depreciation, these two categories account for about 2/3 of the operating expense. Cable programming and franchise fees, insurance, professional, legal, utilities, and fuel make up the remaining third. Let's go on to slide 6. The reserve and restricted funds adjusted balances are shown here. Starting with the first column on the left, reserve funds have a combined ending balance of $44.4 million. Restricted fund balances have an ending balance of $2.8 million. Included in these totals are contributions received in 2025 through assessments, trust facility fees, and investment earnings. The second column shows the work in progress of $11.7 million for reserves and $0 for restricted, reflecting the amounts paid for projects not yet completed. The third column represents resulting adjusted fund balances of $32.6 million for reserves and $2.8 million for restricted. Again, gross less the in process. Let's go on to slide 7. We have a slide here to show resale history from 2023 to 25. Community-wide sales totaled 113 through February end. Most of these transactions generate the trust facility fee used as a source of revenue. As I said earlier, we're down 40 units from plan, but if you look at the historical chart, the bar chart, it's not out of line. So again, seasonality, we expect to catch up on this. Let's go on to slide 9. We compare our adjusted fund balances to historical balances for the past 5 years on the next chart, which shows that GRF has averaged $31 million in reserve funds and $3.1 million in contingency funds. All right. We have any more slides, Paul? Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. That concludes my remarks for the treasurer's report.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. I liked your comment after slide 4, where you said we need to increase the non-assessment revenue while meeting the needs of our residents. That was your own comment. I
Yes.
want you to know that I caught it. I want you to know that we need to use this as our motto, because we will need to be increasing fees that, for everything. So I want you to know I heard it, Andy.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, Ellen. If we ask more, we give more. We provide value for our residents. It's just not to cover something that's going on for years. We need to act proactively and make sure that we're spending money in an effective way and in an efficient way. Sometimes it's not easy to do when you're small, and we are small in some of our stuff. But again, we have expert staff. They're very well trained, and they've been in this business for years, and we should expect a well-running ship, and that's, at least all I can say to current members of the board are all for that. Thank you.
I do have another question. Can I
I
ask?
think this is not the venue for this kind of conversation.
Oh, no, I just have
We
another
can control
question.
it to the closed, if you don't mind.
You're going to let me
Okay.
put this on the close?
All right, what
Whatever
else?
you were talking about, you should
Oh.
move it to the.
Oh, we weren't talking about anything.
Yes.
Are you, any more?
No, I had a question, though. Can I just ask a question about the information services? Why was it unfavorable? What was that about? That was slide number 3.
Okay, I actually have the detailed expense statement for information services, and let's see if anything jumps out. Outside services are unfavorable by $99,000, and equipment repair and maintenance are unfavorable by $195,000.
Okay, primarily in information services?
This is
I can
information
answer that for you.
services.
It happens that sometimes these are budgeted in a way and it is spread equally throughout the year, but some bills come early, some bills come late, and that's why it seems that there was a negative view of the finances, but it's not really out of control.
Well, I think the point, Kush, is on the timing. I can tell you
Timing,
that
yeah,
the
that's
annual
the thing.
budget for this is $570,000, and the 2-month budget was $95,000. So the budget looks like it's pretty evenly spread, but again, this is front-loaded for whatever reason, and that's, hopefully it'll even out over the rest of the year.
Maybe we needed to buy something early than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, information services, though, is that ITAC? No.
That's right.
That's ITAC. Okay,
Yeah.
just say ITAC.
Okay?
Okay.
All set? All right, Egon.
Egon had a question.
Yeah, this goes to slide 7. Andy, generally speaking, our projections for resale numbers have been poor. And is there a chance that you could get just the annual average resale going back pre-COVID, maybe back to 17 or something like that?
Sure.
And
I know we have it, yes.
I know it's available. It's
So
just
you want
that
the
I don't wanna
annual-
ask.
you want
You're
the annual
chair-
number?
You're the chairman, so I thought I'd have worked through you.
Do you want the number by year and then whatever that average is?
Yeah, if you could have the year, get the mutuals and the total by year, just one number.
Okay, then divided by how many years we have. Yeah, okay.
Go back to whatever they have.
Because we know during COVID, there was a blip.
That's why I want to go to pre-COVID to see what it used to be.
You know,
To see if-
personally, I'm wondering, it shouldn't affect us because, insurance, home insurance, because we own the exteriors, we provide people with exterior insurance in a sense.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that in the regular residential market, people are having a rough time getting renewals on insurance. And that certainly is a benefit for living in the village. It's a big benefit.
It's still relevant because when we sell homes, even today, people are having difficulty getting insurance.
Well, is that insurance HO6?
HO6, yes.
So it's not the
that's all we
basic
need to
fire
buy.
insurance is a big deal. Yeah, and we cover that. We provide fire insurance.
Yes, you're right. But what I'm saying, it is difficult to get HO6 policies even today.
We have to be aware of it.
No.
It is.
Is, it,
We are getting into the weeds of things, so,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Yes,
right, are
Martin.
we finished
yeah,
with finance?
regarding HO6,
Yeah.
yeah. You can get it, but you're going to pay for it. It's going up and up and up, okay? The question I had was on slide 3. Why am I feeding back here? The employee compensation favorable. I guess my question is going to be more to Catherine. How many vacancies do we have staff-wise are we looking at?
That might be a tough question.
At the top of my head, I don't know, but we could get you that figure.
But we're up there, though. Still, we have vacancies, and that's why that's favorable, correct? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's called friction. It takes time to hire people, and we also have a tough labor market.
I know, one time, a couple years, or last year, it was like 50 people.
Okay, we need to move on.
All right.
If
Okay,
we are-
thank you.
Thank you for the lovely report. Next item is report of the Community Activities Committee, or is there one in between here? 1, 2, 3. Director Bach, I think I missed you.
Okay.
Report of the Revenue Generating Ad Hoc Committee.
We're meeting again next week, and this will be probably the penultimate meeting of this ad hoc committee group. We're finding that there aren't a lot of alternatives for us. There are some long-term capital-intensive projects that might some fine day yield a lot of money, but short-term, there isn't a whole heck of a lot that we can stir up that's going to generate significant revenue. We're working on it. There'll be a final report from the ad hoc committee to the board. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next is Community Activities Committee,
Okay.
Director Leonard.
That's me.
Ellen.
Okay, that's me. We were busy approving the 2 items that we saw today, the Village Community Fund program for the Camera Club and also for the Help the Herd. Also, we're still working on the policy, the club policy, the recreational special events policy. The biggest catch is fundraisers. What is a fundraiser? And identifying that. A motion was made to create an ad hoc. I have been, people are shaking their head no. Anyway, talking with people, so there's still some discussions.
Okay.
And also about tournaments and the Performing Arts Center. So those 3 items, we've discussed it for 2 meetings. We'll be discussing it again, and that meeting is April 10th at 1:30.
Thank you. Next is the Energy Ad Hoc Committee, Director Durst.
Thank you. We, besides, approving the major goals, et cetera, we're hard at work gathering the basic information as far as how much power we use, when we use it, because half of our bill is based on demand charges. And there's a general overall, what's the most in the month by meter, and then there's a second demand charge based on, especially in the summer, the 4 to 9 time frame. So we've gotten, with a lot of help from finance and working with GRF, or not GRF,
SCE.
Edison, we've got a pretty good handle on what power we're using. And we're now, we've got the consultant hired. He's hard at work on trying to figure out how much of a panel layout we can do by location. And quite honestly, it's a little tougher than I'd hoped we're going to need to put up more panels than I thought we were. We're going to be scrambling, trying to find some other locations to put enough to get anywhere near covering the bill, which is huge. Right now, we're paying 1.3. We'll probably be paying 2 within about 3 years. The next phase that we're going to go into is in the eliminate, reduce, move phase, where we need to work with staff to say, okay, I got charts out of finance and from SCE that show what's used when, how much power is used when, and we'll work with staff to identify what is causing those peaks, especially from 4 to 9, and then see if there's any of that can be moved or not, so we know what we're going to need to do as far as batteries, et cetera. So we're hard at work, and we are making quite a bit of progress.
Awesome. Thank you. When is your next meeting?
April 10th.
April 10th at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom. Okay, thank you. Space Planning Committee, we met on March 24th. Our next meeting is April 28th at 9:30 a.m. in the boardroom. As we discussed earlier this morning, a lot of discussion happened in that meeting, and it was decided to hire a structural engineer to review the building E and come back to us with a result of what we can do with that building. So we'll continue in that direction and discuss it further. I hope we will get that report before our April 28th meeting, but don't know. So now that we have approved the structural engineer hire, we should be able to have a positive thought about that. All right. Yes, sir. You have a...
Yeah, I'd just like to reaffirm that the Space Planning Subcommittee is not just about Building E. There's more to it than Building E. Building E is important, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. So more to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Next would be the report of the Communications Committee, Director Bach.
We previously reported on this in the February meeting, and the committee has sort of gone into sleep mode, you might say, from the standpoint of requiring active member participation from GRF board members and mutual members. It will be revitalized as needed, but right now the communications area has a very well-structured communications program that goes on with the daily, monthly notifications, the publications that go out, and there is no need to take staff time to mount meetings that aren't really needed from the various boards. So again, if needed, we'll resurrect. Right now, we're kind of in a sleep mode.
Thank you. Report of the Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, Director Rosa.
Yes, the Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, the closed committee, met on March 6th, 2025. We're waiting on staff to determine when our next meeting is. Staff for broadband as well as media, because there's been a change there. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next is the report of the Mobility and Vehicles Committee. Director Leonard, would you like to give a report?
Sure.
For the last time?
Yes. We last met on February 5th. Next meeting is May 7th. I'm stepping down as chair of this committee as of tomorrow, I guess. And Gary will be taking over. It's been a real pleasure to work with Robert Carroll in this committee, and I think that we've both learned a lot and are moving some things forward. Since the last meeting, we've had an opportunity to look at electric vans for the plumbing and the electrical department, and they're now evaluating if they can put some of these electric vans into service sooner than next year by moving some of these things forward, which is a good.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome because, and Mr. Carroll was particularly interested in doing that because it gets us more information under our belt from an operational standpoint, so that if it does look extremely beneficial, that, you know, that will encourage that department to move faster. And so, good luck, Gary. Oh, I did want to mention one thing. On the Energy Ad Hoc Committee, we just received notification yesterday that all of the applications that we put in for the EV chargers at the 5 locations have been approved.
Yay! Good job, everybody.
So I was kind of surprised we got that information that fast, but now we will be tasked to develop potential expenses for each one of those 5 locations, and then make decisions as a board to which of those we want to fund and construct. So I'm hoping within the next couple of months, we'll be well on our way to a plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to know. Excellent information. All right, next is the report of the Security and Community Access Committee. Director Guy Hopner.
Yeah, well, we did not meet in March, and our next meeting will be April 23rd at 1:30 p.m. here in the boardroom.
Fabulous. Okay, let's move on. Report of the Laguna Woods Village traffic hearing. Director Durst, or is it Director Leonard?
Which is that?
The traffic.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
I went as alternate. We heard, I don't know, about 7 cases or so, a couple of...
Stop sign cases.
Everything. Speeding is the real issue right now with the $200 fines. There's going to be a recommendation to shut down traffic school, because especially with the $200 fines, and you can cut it to $20 if you go to traffic school, and then you go to traffic school and you sit there and look at your cell phone or whatever else. And so staff said, you know, there isn't much being gained by doing this traffic school, and it's just a great way for people to duck out of most of the cost of their tickets. We did have a little side discussion from the point of view, and it's really, this is something that needs to go to security, I think, more than anything. But we've got all these people running signs, and a lot of them are shocked and amazed that the fine is now $200. And I have suggested, and not got much for support, but I have suggested that at least for a short time, we put a sign under the stop sign that says penalty is now $200. Right. Because a whole lot of people aren't getting the message. Right. They just aren't getting the message. The other thing would be to eliminate a number of the stop signs and put in speed bumps. And I understand the only objection there is from the fire department, but the fire department goes out and around all of the time. There's speed bumps in Pack 3, there's speed bumps in many places, and if the idea is really safety and not just issuing tickets, speed bumps would be a lot more helpful. End of speech.
Thank you. Next is Executive Member Hearing Committee. Director Bach.
We had to, well, Thankfully, we needed to cancel the last meeting scheduled because we had no cases. We're so well behaved. So got nothing to report. As needed again, we will reconvene.
All right. Next is the Disaster Preparedness Task Force. Director Rosa?
Yes, the Disaster Preparedness Task Force met on Tuesday, March 25th, here in the boardroom, and we had Chief Nunez give us, he presented the jacket green analysis. I had a discussion on that. I've had a chance to review that analysis, and there is so much that needs to be done to be coordinated with the city. There's a lot of areas there that we need to update our policy, but so do they. And we need to coordinate with them as to many of the the various items that are involved in the gap analysis. But so I think that we've got what we need in order to change our policy out of that analysis. I don't, they're talking about wanting to spend money to have somebody do it. I think that it's all there in the analysis that we could implement, but we have to meet with the city as far as making sure our efforts are not duplicated. We'd had of course, at that meeting there, we announced about the following day as to that we had the calling of the DPDF volunteers that all met at Clubhouse 7. There was, I think, over 100 people there that were looking at, creating, we need good neighbor captains, we need clubhouse coordinators, we need amateur radio operators, and in the event of a disaster. There was a report given by the security officer, Aaron Kennedy, about the antennas on the clubhouses, that there's 5 of 7 have been installed and tested, 90% tested. But there still needs to be coordination of how that goes together with respect to our emergency operations center, as well as our alternate operations center that we have to have implemented according to the gap analysis. Anyways, we're excited. The next meeting is going to be May 27th here in the boardroom.
Awesome. Lastly, it is the Information Technology Advisory Committee. It is a closed meeting, but you can still give
Yeah, we met on March 28th, last Friday, and I know that I know it's a closed meeting. I'm proposing that the next meeting for ITAC will be probably, I'm going to propose to be the end of May, like May 30th.
Okay.
We're looking at, instead of the end of April. I'm hoping to be able to have like a staff report given to the board in the months in between, as we get through these final
stages,
applications of the system that needs to go into service. And that's
Okay,
it.
with that,
Right.
we've done all our committee reports. Next item is future agenda items. I don't see anything in it. Next is director comments. Ms. Collins, would you like any comments?
Any comment?
Director comments.
Yes. Any comment? I am so happy to be here. I am so appreciative of the work of the people on this board, and I look forward to helping you in every way I can.
Fabulous. Director Durst? No. Okay. Director Leonard?
No comment.
Director Andy?
Nothing more.
No comments? Director Hoffman?
No comment.
Director Leonard? Nothing. No? Wow. I think we have done our duties today, and actually I noticed that we have finished our meeting in a record time. It's 11:40. So let's take a recess and meet at our closed meeting at 12:15. All right. With that, I recess this meeting.